From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Pope Leo XIV calls for Gaza ceasefire, peace in Ukraine, and backs India-Pakistan truce in first Sunday address. A deadly U.S. airstrike that killed 68 African migrants in Yemen's Sa'ada province has triggered protests in the capital, Sana'a. On Sunday, demonstrators gathered outside the UN office, holding banners and chanting anti-U.S. slogans. They condemned the April 28 strike as a war crime, blaming Washington for targeting a shelter run by the International Organization for Migration and the Red Cross. Houthi officials say 47 others were injured in the bombing. Protesters called the silence of the international community shameful. Since mid-March, the U.S. has launched more than 1,700 strikes on Yemen, according to Houthi media. In retaliation, the Houthis have fired more than 250 missiles and drones, targeting ships near the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. On Mother's Day on Sunday, progressive lawmakers urge Americans to honor mothers through real policy change, not just celebration. Democratic Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib said her Mama's Caucus is fighting to protect Medicaid, expand child care, and ensure clean water for families. Tlaib called for ending child poverty with a universal child benefit and backed legislation for paid leave and universal school meals. She also highlighted the Black Maternal Health Caucus's Omnibus Act to address the U.S. maternal health crisis, which disproportionately affects Black women. Representative Jonathan Jackson noted that Black mothers are nearly 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. He called it unacceptable that more than 80% of these deaths are preventable. As Republicans eye cuts to social programs, progressives say the best way to honor mothers is by protecting their rights, health, and dignity. House Republicans have unveiled a controversial new bill that could strip more than 8.6 million Americans of Medicaid coverage. The proposed legislation, part of a broader budget package, includes work requirements and payment mandates for low-income adults, including children and people with disabilities. Critics say the changes aim to slash healthcare spending by more than $700 billion to fund tax breaks for the wealthy. The Congressional Budget Office warns the plan will leave millions uninsured. Health policy experts say the impact may be hard to grasp technically, but the human cost, they stress, is clear and devastating for vulnerable communities. New Social Security Commissioner Frank Bisignano has pledged to ensure the agency survives for at least another 90 years. Speaking on Fox News, Bisignano said reforms under the Trump administration will target waste and fraud to keep Social Security and Medicare solvent. He was confirmed by the Senate on May 6th, despite strong opposition from Democrats who fear benefit cuts. Bisignano previously led major financial firms, including Fiserv. Trump and top officials, including Elon Musk, have pushed for tighter oversight of the Social Security Administration. Musk's team has flagged inefficiencies in federal payment systems, and while Republicans say the goal is to improve, not dismantle, Social Security, Democrats warn that changes could lead to reduced benefits. Bisignano insisted reforms will secure the system's future, saying we have no intent to break a system that can be improved. President Donald Trump claims the country has been invaded by 21 million undocumented immigrants. Experts say Trump's figure is unverified, with most estimates placing the number of undocumented immigrants at around 11 million. Trump said the U.S. is becoming a crime-ridden third world nation and called for deportation of undocumented immigrants. In a fiery Truth Social post, he claimed many illegal immigrants are violent criminals. Trump blamed what he called a radical and incompetent court system for blocking removals. He also urged his legal team to press this case before the Supreme Court. His top advisor, Stephen Miller, suggested suspending habeas corpus, a key legal right to speed up deportations, citing an invasion. Miller accused judges of waging war on both the executive and legislative branches. Pope Leo XIV, in his first Sunday blessing, called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and peace in Ukraine. Addressing more than 100,000 people at Vatican City's St. Peter's Square, he echoed his predecessor, Pope Francis. He said no more war and urged world powers to say never again war. Leo demanded aid for civilians and the release of prisoners in Gaza. He also welcomed a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. The U.S.-born pontiff was elected May 8th after Pope Francis's death and vowed to work for authentic, just, and lasting peace. India's PM Modi says strikes on Pakistan are only paused, not over, warning of more action and ruling out talks on Kashmir. This and more coming up next. Welcome back. Israel's relentless assault in Gaza has killed 33 Palestinians in the last 24 hours. A deadly strike hit a school-turned-shelter in Jabalia, killing 17 people, including 5 children and 4 women. More civilians died in Israeli drone and airstrikes across Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunis, with tents for displaced people targeted. Children were among the dead in at least 3 tent strikes in Al-Mawasi area. Gaza City also saw casualties, including in a mosque strike and ongoing demolitions in residential areas. Intense shelling was reported in eastern Khan Yunis and Abbasid al-Kabira. The UN warns that 500,000 Palestinians now face starvation as Israel's blockade enters day 71. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 62,000 Palestinians and wounded 119,648 since October 2023, according to the Health Ministry. Hamas released Israeli-American hostage Idon Alexander in Gaza on Monday. Israeli media reports that he was handed over to the Red Cross in Khan Yunis. Alexander was the last known living U.S. prisoner in Gaza. Hamas said the release followed talks with the U.S. and international mediators ahead of President Donald Trump's visit to the region. The group said the move aims to help efforts towards a ceasefire and open aid routes. Hamas urged Washington to push for an end to what it called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's brutal war. Indonesia is hosting the 19th OIC Parliamentary Union Conference in its capital, Jakarta, with Palestine high on the agenda. The 3-day meeting brings together delegates from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Malaysia, Egypt, and others. The focus is on Gaza, where Israel's genocide of Palestinians is ongoing. Indonesia is pushing for a united Muslim response as Tel Aviv continues to block humanitarian aid to the region. The conference aims to strategize stronger political support for Palestine across the Muslim world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has declared that military operations against Pakistan are only paused, not over. He said any future action depends on Islamabad's conduct. The warning came in Modi's first national address since a U.S.-brokered ceasefire halted the 100-hour conflict. India launched Operation Sindoor after a terror attack in Kashmir killed 26 civilians, blaming Kashmiris and Pakistan for the violence. Pakistan retaliated with strikes on Indian military installations, reportedly downing 6 Indian fighter jets. Modi claimed the Indian blitz caused unimaginable damage to Pakistan's military infrastructure and killed more than 100 militants. He said no talks will be held with Pakistan. He also ruled out dialogue on the Kashmir dispute. Modi said future negotiations, if any, would focus only on terrorism and the return of Pakistan-administered Kashmir to India. He accused Pakistan's military of backing terrorism and warned that it eventually would face blowback. Modi ended with a warning: India will act again if provoked. Residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir began clearing debris after intense Indian Army shelling hit the Neelam Jura sector. The bombardments damaged nearly 300 homes and 21 shops. The violence ended after a ceasefire was reached following days of clashes. Islamabad launched a massive retaliatory strike on Saturday after Indian military action targeting what it called terrorist camps in Pakistan. The escalation followed an attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that killed 26 people and which India blamed on Kashmiris and Pakistan. In total, 33 people were killed and 62 injured in Pakistan, while 21 deaths were reported on the Indian side. Protesters took to the streets in Paris, Marseille, and Lyon on Sunday to denounce rising Islamophobia in France. They demanded justice for Abu Bakr Sis, a young Muslim man fatally stabbed as he prayed in a mosque last month. Demonstrators chanted "Stop Islamophobia" and "Justice for Abu Bakr," blaming Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau's rhetoric. Leftist leaders Jean-Luc Mélenchon and Émeric Caron joined the rally. Protesters also waved Palestinian flags in solidarity with Gaza. Uyghur rights groups have accused top global hotel chains of helping China whitewash abuses in Chinese-occupied eastern Turkestan, which is officially called Xinjiang. A new report says nearly 200 international hotels, including Hilton, Marriott, IAG, and Wyndham, are operating or expanding in the region. The Uyghur Human Rights Project warns these hotels risk legitimizing mass internment, forced labor, and cultural erasure. By offering luxury services, the report says they aid Beijing's propaganda and hide ongoing human rights violations. Activists urge hotels to freeze operations and sever ties with the region until abuses stop. China denies any wrongdoing. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.